Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Today I thought we could talk about mental health, bit of a taboo subject. I know the algorithm's going to hate this one, but I just wanted to share my experience with you, and maybe with me sharing my experience, anyone else who may have gone through something similar can realise that you're not alone, and that it's something that should be spoken about because there's so little help out there. Now, I'll give you the rundown as to the worst experience I had. So, in the lead up to my breakup and me ending up on the streets, I was obviously recovering from a brain injury from a car accident. I was battling addiction. I was grieving from the loss of my father. A lot going on, and eventually my mind it broke, and it's frightening as to what your mind can actually do when it breaks. I never thought something like this could be possible, but I completely lost my grip on reality. I didn't know who I was, I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know what was going on. I was somewhere else completely. I thought people were after me. Full blown auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations. I was somewhere else. I was no longer myself. This went on for probably going for a couple of months, and I know at the time my partner tried desperately to get help, and then there is absolutely no help. And there'd be moments where I'd be lucid and I'd come back, and I'd sort of be told what had happened. I just couldn't comprehend how that had happened, and then I would lose my grip on reality again. And there's people out there that take entertainment from things like this. My stepdaughter's partner, I know that they like to film it and put on TikTok. And there was a few instances when I was out and I completely lost my grip. People had filmed it and things like that, and it ended up on the internet. And it was a good laugh for people. Me at my absolute worst, in dire need of help, was a form of entertainment. Doesn't bother me. It really doesn't, because I had no control over what was happening. I was ill, and if you take entertainment from that, you're just sick in my eyes. Well, anyway, the how it got to its very worst point was from what I remember, is I went out and I think I was trying to score some drugs. At the time, I drove a Mercedes and I still had a bit of cash. To some people, I might have seemed like a target. Now, what all I remember is I remember being picked up by the police, and then my mind went again. I didn't know where I was, and then I remember being in hospital. Now, from what I can gather, what's happened was I was picked up by the police, and I think they took me to a police station, and somehow, don't ask me how, I escaped police custody, and they picked me up again. And I think at that point I had collapsed, and I was like non-responsive. My heart rate was through the roof, my temperature was through the roof. So they've got me to hospital, and again I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to fight everyone off. So they've sedated me, and where my temperature was so high, they've had to strip me down completely, and they've got ice packs on me, and my heart rate was through the roof. They were seriously concerned that I was going to have a heart attack, because I think that's one point my BPM was like getting around the 200 mark. So they've sedated me, and they've had to really sedate me because nothing was working. I was still completely fighting everything, didn't know what was happening. Now, there was a toxicology screening done, and they found a whole cocktail of drugs in my system, which were drugs that I didn't partake in. And from what I can gather, from the time that they would have done this toxicology report, from the time that I had gone out, the levels of what they had found would have had to have been given to me intravenously, because they were very high levels, and I was not an IV drug user. So my assumption, and I'm pretty certain, I think I was spiked, and someone trying to saw that I was in a very vulnerable position. Obviously, saw that I had a Mercedes. For all intents and purposes, looked like I had a bit of money, so I think I was spiked. And basically, they had to keep me unconscious for quite a few days. My heart rate, my temperature to come down. I was lucky to live, very lucky to live. And from what I remember, this was a Friday evening. Then I remember waking up in a room. I didn't know where it was, and I was absolutely terrified. I was screaming like, "Where am I? Where? I don't say her name. Where's, my ex?" And some nurses came in and they explained to me that I was in a hospital. I was in a mental health unit, and I was like, "What day is it?" And they said it's Wednesday. I was out from Friday to Wednesday. I was completely unconscious. They had to just, like I say, essentially to put me in a coma to try and get my heart rate down and get my temperature down. And I spent quite a few weeks in this mental health unit. Not a pleasant experience. It really wasn't. And I didn't really get any help for what I'd been experiencing. I was still getting flashbacks, and it was still there, but it was wearing off. And then eventually I was discharged. I went home. Obviously, this had taken a massive strain on my relationship, a huge strain on my relationship. And it ultimately, these are the catalysts that led to us breaking up and me ending up on the streets. I've battled mental health ever since. I was discharged and I was given absolutely no support, none at all. Just left to get back on with it. And then obviously I had the problems that I had when I was on the streets, and I found myself in a situation again. Again, discharged, no help, no support. And now I battle the PTSD of what I experienced. There's situations I can no longer be in. I could never be in a shared accommodation again. It scares the living hell out of me. Loud music terrifies me because it reminds me of the nightclub where I was camped. Like, that door to that nightclub would open, the music would be loud, and then trouble would ensue. So I say loud music just terrifies me. Groups of people terrify me. If I go into somewhere like a Costa Coffee or whatever, I need to be in a corner back to the wall so I can see the exit and I can see what's around me. It's had such an effect on my mental health, like I say, and just from all the violence as well that I sustained. I wake up in the middle of the night and think that I'm still there. It doesn't go away. And this affects, I'd say, nearly everyone on the street. And there is just no mental health services that help. Nothing. It's like now with the physical medical issues I've got, which thankfully are looking positive, that, I'm getting through it. I still have my mental health issues, and I've pleaded for help, absolutely pleaded. And again, I'm just, I'm putting a waiting list, and absolutely nothing's going to happen with it. Ultimately, it's for me to get the support that I need. It's going to have to be private, and it's going to have to be paid for, and it's not going to be cheap. But like I say, it's everyone on the streets probably suffers these problems, and there is no help there. And like I say, the fact that people filmed it for their entertainment, you're sick. You're absolutely sick. I don't care about it. I really don't. It's out there. If you want to get entertainment from that, that's on you. You're the one. You're the one the problem, not me. Which will lead me into the next video that I've got coming of what I had to endure with people sending things to employers, sending things to the press, and sending things to Alex Kirsten, also Alex, the guy that helped me with the van that ultimately started my YouTube journey, which is what I'm going to cover in the next video. But I just thought we would cover mental health today because it's something that's not spoken about. And it needs to be spoken about. Don't suffer in silence. I suffered in silence and it broke me. It cost me everything. And I still suffer now, but I won't suffer in silence. So if you find yourself in these situations, talk to someone. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you. Okay? Everyone will go through a crisis in their life. Talk to someone. Don't bottle it up. Because I can guarantee you it will make it a million times worse. Anyway, big love, guys, and we'll chat soon.